Our Akureyri, Iceland port of call was an overnighter, arriving in the early evening and leaving the next afternoon. Was it worth it? We explored our options in town and we'll share with you our experiences plus port basics, tips, and some cool discoveries. I'm Troy and this is the Port Lowdown. Akureyri is in northern Iceland at the end of the Eyjafjörður, the longest fjord in Iceland, which makes for some magnificent sail-ins and sail-outs. It's usually a jumping off point for two of northern Iceland's star attractions, Myvatn, a geothermal hotspot with a nearby hot springs and epic lake, and Goðafoss waterfall, or Waterfall of the Gods, aptly named. There's also whale watching and other boat-related excursions. The port can accommodate 3 ships, but the 2 main ones are at right angles to each other. You pretty much face the main part of town, just a 10-minute walk away. Not much to see with the port itself. There's no terminal, but a large dock and outside parking area. There's a Wi-Fi hut facing the shipping company building, pretty basic otherwise. Signs and outside maps are nice and clear. Kind of remind me of the airport, although I do appreciate the winter clothes shop. Yeah, be warm, be well. I was definitely trying with my current windbreaker and multi-layers, but we are close to the Arctic Circle. Looks like these guys bundled up. Since this was the early evening, we didn't have the typical tour buses for the morning groups. Instead, I found the die-hard tour operators looking for business. In a nice way, of course. And there's plenty of options on display. Taxis are out here too, of course. Now with lots of distant attractions, car rental certainly makes sense. There are several options close by. Europcar was just a block away, just outside the other cruise ship pier. Avis and Budget is another 5-minute walk from here, and their office is pretty big from the looks of the building. Stepping out, you'll follow the water towards town. Smooth sidewalk, benches, a nice view. And your first stop should be this building in about a 5-minute walk, the Hopp Cultural and Conference Center. My name for it? The Nerve Center. Inside its glowing interior is a splendid tourist info counter and shop. Bathrooms downstairs. All clean, fancy, and free. Outside in front is a local bus stop to towns further afield, as well as the local Ho-Ho bus, which stops at several points of interest in town. There's also bike and scooter rentals here through the Hopp App. In fact, the app recommends using this as your base to return. But mind that although there's lots of flat streets, you'll encounter hills further from the main drag. So from there, cross the street. The first thing you'll see is this cute taxi stand. Just a few steps from that is a local bus stop. Now, there are local buses that are free. That's right, free. But there are some considerations I didn't think of. The problem is you don't know the route, and you don't know how long it's going to take you to get there. It could circumnavigate the entire city and get back around you maybe another 30 or 40 minutes or whatever, when it takes about, I don't know, maybe 20, 25 minutes to get to the Botanic Gardens, say for example. So what I'd do this, if you want to take the local bus, the first thing I would do is go to the tourist information office and say, look, I want to take the local bus specifically to this place, which route, how long, and have them show you on the route how long it's going to take, because your time's valuable. If you're going to be on a wild goose chase on a local bus when you could be just walking through the old town and getting to the Botanical Garden in about 20-25 minutes, maybe it isn't worth it. Now keep walking southwest and you'll hit this roundabout. There's a local bank here, but no ATM that I could see. For that, try this Islands Banky ATM a few blocks away. As you turn left down this promenade and head south, you'll face the main drag where the motherlode of restaurants, bakeries, and stores are. Very, very cute. This mural presides over a children's play area and this hip hot dog stand. Let's see, what do we got? Hot dog with potato salad? Hot dog with bacon and baked beans? Just mind the birds. Also, you'll find the town's pharmacy store here, which was closed on the weekends. By the way, if you need a public toilet here, we found one at this bookstore, but you'll need a receipt from either the bookstore or cafe to use it. Just past the bookstore, at this intersection, everyone seemed to want their #love Akureyri shot. So here's mine. Now 2 more attractions are just to the right. First is the Akureyri church with its distinctive facade, which was under renovation on our trip and was, you got it, closed. Also up the street is the Akureyri Art Museum, which stands out from the street. The next big attraction is somewhat of a hike. Climb this street, turn left, and follow it south for about 10 minutes past the junior college and some pretty cute houses to the Botanical Garden. Remember that bus stop? On foot from there, it's about a 20-minute walk. Now it's quite a beauty even though it's small. It's lovely and definitely worth the time to check out. There's also a cafe on site that's also an evening performance space. And before I forget, there's 2 more museums within a 20-minute walk from here, Akureyri Heritage Museum and Toy Museum. And be sure to check out the traffic lights here. They have red hearts, a way of making the long winters more bearable. It's all about making whoever is here welcome. By the way, do you enjoy being on your own during a cruise? Us too. Hit us up with a like and consider subscribing. We put out weekly videos aimed at the independent cruiser. So our big independent excursion here was at a thermal spa. Now Iceland is heavily volcanic, so it's famous for its many hot springs. So close by here is Forest Lagoon. It's the most convenient option for the spa experience here. And the price is fairly reasonable too. It's about $50 US. Now you need to book online ahead of time. Now one of their nice features is that they offer a free shuttle, which picks up and returns in front of the Hopp. It's a nice bus, but it's smallish, so be early. And the posted times on the website are a little loose, at least in the morning. So the bus schedule says 10 o'clock. The bus is early and filled up pretty quickly and left early.
Sorry, the bus is full at 2 minutes.
Okay.
So I'll be back in 15 minutes.
15?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an 8 to 10 minute ride crossing the bridge. It's in a beautiful location. It's swank and it's small. See how close the ship is? You check in, you get a chipped wristband, and you're in. Everything's accessed with the wristband, of course. Shoes go off at the front of the locker room, then you enter. You also need to take a full shower with soap before putting on your swimsuit. Pass the shower area and it's pretty self-explanatory. What's cool is they have lots of ramps. They have a ramp on the outside to enter the water. They also have a ramp on the inside so you can come in and out from the inclement weather. Water's not too hot, but nice and comfortable. Now it has some nice variations with the swim up bar. Here's a swim up water fountain. You can also order a porn star martini liberation cocktail. I'm not sure how much liberation I actually needed, but it's there. Separate hot sauna with fresh towels. An ice pool. I didn't have the guts to go in that. Also, we brought our own towels from the ship, but if you forgot stuff, you can rent it. And when you check out, the machine eats your wristband and off you go. So in the beginning of this video, we asked, is Akureyri worth the overnight stay? Overall, our experience was a positive one. The city is fun and has a fair amount of things to do, but there are some considerations to think about. First are the business hours. We docked in the early evening when all the museums, the tourist information office, and car rental offices were closed. Plan ahead if you want to make the most of your evening. If you plan on renting a car, for example, make arrangements with someone to meet you. Don't assume an employee will be waiting past closing time. Your best bet for an evening DIY is dinner and possibly entertainment. The Green Hat, a 15-minute walk from the dock, is the city's main venue for live music. And second, adjust your assumptions about time. Since it's overnight, it's easy to assume you have lots of extra time to tour. In our case, the evening was limited due to closures, so we had to maximize our time for the next day when things were open again, at different hours of the morning. We found that the extra evening didn't add much more opportunity than a one-day port of call. So an overnight isn't necessarily worth it, unless the evening hours offer something specific you can't get during the day, like strolling the streets after dark. An evening stroll is magical in places like Italy, but Iceland during tourist season has long daylight hours. Just saying. Any thoughts on this or anything else about Akureyri? Leave us a comment.